How's it going?
What's up? I'm Nate Walker from the band Lit.
I'm Ed Udhus from Zebrahead, and this is Get Off My Case.
Check out our crib.
I ain't no Steve McQueen. I'm like a dead pop star in a magazine of anyone left lost in quarantine.
This here is called the GoMc Bar, and we just finished making the prototype, which you're looking at here. It's actually been out for a couple of parties to see how it worked. And according to Nate's computer that he built, it pays for itself in 7.2 hours worth of moderate drinking alcohol customers, correct?
That's right. Hi, how can I help you?
Can I please have a yogurt and a Coors Light, please?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
How much will that be?
That's on the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks, cheers.
So everybody go get yourself a GoMc Bar.
And look, you can run over people with it. This is our guitar boat. This is a 6-space. The main difference is we don't use a whole lot of extra parts inside the inside. We use the existing latches to grab the lid here. And what it does basically is it takes the case from 70 pounds to about 40 pounds. And if you're a band that tours a lot, this is what you want because it's going to get on the airplane without paying a bunch of extra money. Got a lot of guys, mobile recording studios, doing like Digio tube recording, some cool preamp stuff. You want to move around town real quick and easy. Small little racks, amp rack, the 12 space. Put the amp on the bottom. 12 space rack, storage on the right. Leave everything hooked up. Just plug it in when you get there. Lock it into place. And pretty cool.
Cymbal case. Can fit up to 22-inch cymbals. Lightweight, ready for fly-out dates and all that stuff. The case company is something to do, or it started off kind of something to do when you were home and not touring. And it's just evolved into this business that does fairly well and allows us to stay in touch with musicians and keeps us very busy.
Yeah. Plus we get to make ourselves road cases, which is a big plus, right?
We got to make ourselves road cases, and it's also a gig that you can do on the road as well. Talk to customers, and I get to do designs and stuff when I'm on the road. So
Yeah.
it's functional home or elsewhere, anywhere in the world, basically. But it just keeps us very busy when we're home, and
I always thought it was really interesting, like being backstage at some giant festival in Germany. Everybody knows bands and everybody knows each other, but I always knew much more people backstage than my band did because I knew them all from Get Off My Case. And it's kind of it's kind of cool to be in some airfield in Germany and see a bunch of Get Off My Case cases with some band that you didn't even know bought them, because sometimes you just deal with a tour manager and get the band's name. It's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah.
The whole thing of having the case company, you still can travel and play shows and tour and have endorsements and all this cool stuff. But when you're not home and, if all you do is play music and you got to hustle to try and find other gigs, it could be very stressful. But so having the case company is great because you don't have to worry about that so much as far as income and money, and you can still go out and travel and do whatever you want. So I would just, not having to do the McDonald's type job or whatever,
Yeah.
As long as, we're still in music no matter what. If we're home and not touring, we're constantly in the music business and dealing with artists and bands and drummers and guitar players. So this is a huge plus if you're not playing.
Yeah, I think if you're a drummer now and possibly considering doing it for a living, I think your motivations for the most part have to be along the lines of you really like music, you like playing music, not because you think about becoming famous someday or something like that, because I've been doing it a long time and I'm not famous. I do it for fun, and I get to do it because I get to play drums every night, have a good time, and then, like you said, at home deal with all these other rad musicians, and you can learn stuff from them and talk about the road and share trips, tricks, and it's kind of a cool thing just to look at it from that attitude. Like you really like music and you can make a decent living at it, you're lucky, because it's really hard. You have to work really hard at it. A lot of musicians don't do what we do, and now they've got jobs.
Yeah.
They don't do what we do, and they can't afford to be in a band, especially in this economy. I've noticed that everyone's having a hard time. Guarantees are down, touring's down, sales are way down. So I think supplementing it with something else that involves music and using your time and your brains to make that work for you is a good idea. Kind of like
Can we forget about the things?
Watch out, guys.
don't forget the ground right there.
Yeah. hurt.